Race faking is officially a trend. FaceTime and chill is considered a romantic date, and Kim K is pleading the case of killers. Anything can happen in 2020. Welcome to Central Ave. I'm Julissa Bermudez.
And I'm Sonia Richards-Ross. When it comes to exposing the truth, tonight's show takes no prisoners, and neither does Kim Kardashian West. Our crime correspondent, Melissa McCarty, went inside her legal circle to examine her new controversial cases. Melissa?
Thank you, Sonia and Julissa. Well, after being almost unanimously commended for her social justice campaigns that aided in the release of some nonviolent felons, Kardashian West is pushing the public opinion envelope by pursuing the commutation or release of some convicted murderers. Kim's mission versus the feelings of the victims' families is tonight's central story.
Kim was not only interested just in cases that were about drugs or nonviolent, she was really interested in looking at people as human beings.
And that includes admitted murderers. Kardashian West, along with attorneys Erin Haney and Jessica Jackson, are currently fighting for Don Jackson, sentenced to 30 years in 1999 for murder.
So why go the extra mile? You were saying that Kim is very courageous in taking on these cases. Why be a high-profile person taking on controversial murder cases, one who is admittedly guilty?
We spoke to people who talked about her having to go to the hospital when she was 5 as a result of sexual abuse from a caregiver.
If you told her about your history and there has been medical proof of abuse, why that person and never even thought to bring that up.
Dawn was 27 years old when she stabbed Robert McBride 27 times. Explain the family dynamic, who was McBride to her, and what was not allowed in trial.
McBride was Dawn's step-grandfather and was one of the people who had perpetrated abuses against her. And so when Dawn pled guilty, she was not able to tell her story. Nobody knew the history or the background. And so she was sentenced as though the headlines were true.
Everyone assumes it's so easy. I'm like, this is so hard.
Kim and her team are now asking the governor of New Jersey to grant clemency and to commute her sentence so she can live out the rest of her years at home with family.
People deserve a second chance.
Aspiring to be a lawyer by 2022, Kim's justice reform efforts have already helped free inmates like Terrence Byrd, Jamel Carraway, Tyneese Nicole Hall, Crystal Munoz, Judith Negron, Mamalu Stewart, and most famously, Alice Marie Johnson, who was pardoned by President Trump.
That's what our president, Donald Trump, did for me.
You and Kim are taking on some very high-profile cases. You have Rodney Reed, Kevin Cooper, and Corey Miller. Why these cases?
These are all innocence cases, and these are all cases where something during the trial phase went horribly awry.
They got me at first with a guilty verdict, but you know they did it wrong.
Corey Miller, known as C Murder in the music industry, was found guilty of second-degree murder in 2009.
He shot in the chest.
On January 12, 2002, Corey Miller went to Platinum Club in Harvey, Louisiana. That night, 16-year-old Stephen Thomas was shot and killed. During his second murder trial, only 10 of the 12 jurors voted in favor of conviction. This year, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that non-unanimous jury verdicts, which have roots in the Jim Crow era, violate Sixth Amendment rights.
Dear Supreme Court, now will you let me go?
Once again, Kim K saw injustice and got vocal. On August 16th, she announced she was teaming up with singer Monica, who is Corey's ex-girlfriend, to free Corey Miller. Quote, since his trial, witnesses have recanted, new evidence of his potential innocence has come to light, and there are claims of jurors being pressured into voting to convict.
And I'm just really forever grateful for Kim. She can tell you things that even I had not seen in the almost 19 years. She's not playing around with this.
C Murder's brother, Master P, championed Corey's freedom for years.
He's in prison for a crime he didn't commit.
Free Corey Miller! Free Corey Miller!
We will be arguing that some DNA evidence was found within the district attorney's office file that was a positive match to someone not named Corey Miller.
C Murder's appeals attorney Tim Yazbek is filing a post-conviction relief based on newly discovered evidence that was never turned over to the defense, and his team has been working closely with Kim.
Does her support in her legal team coming on board help a high-profile murder case like this?
I think it does, because nationally, for people to see what happened in Corey's case and to learn about all the facts that happened in Corey's case, not just what the prosecutors argued at trial, I think it's monumental. It's great for Corey.
You have said that you believe that Kim Kardashian West is well-intended, but when it comes to this case, you believe she is misinformed. Is that correct?
I don't know if it's misinformed. It's more like underinformed.
TREY MUSTIAN is the attorney for the family of murder victim Stephen Thomas, and he says they believe the right person is serving a life sentence.
What is the Thomas family concern at this point with a bigger spotlight on the case?
Well, they really would just like to have some closure on this. I mean, they buried their son 18 years ago. You know, the last thing that Dolores Thomas ever heard from Steve Thomas was when he left that night. He said, "Mom, I'm gone." And nobody realized at that time how prophetic those words were. He's gone.
Thanks, Melissa, for bringing us all sides of this very complex story. A lot to consider there. And coming up next, another complicated issue, the digital dating explosion set off by the COVID pandemic. Julissa found out who's winning in the new high-tech game of love.
Do you think we should meet?
Meet? Oh my God. Welcome back. That was Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks in 1998's classic online love rom-com, You've Got Mail. But with a global gust of dating sites and hookup apps, the digital search for love in 2020 is a lot more complicated. Now, add a global pandemic, sheltering in place, and hashtag stay-home orders, and it's a whole new world for singles seeking a soulmate.
My first virtual date.
I'm putting on a black dress. I would love to take you on a virtual date. Well, let's go.
Tiffany Haddish and Common made a serious COVID connection.
Welcome to the virtual dating world.
You look very beautiful.
You're looking very handsome yourself.
Tiff's Common's Bumble Bae, and she's not playing.
You're actually doing it with Common.
Yeah, I'm doing it with Common now.
The superstar couple joins millions of Americans looking for a meaningful relationship despite a worldwide pandemic.
How are you?
I'm nervous.
I'm not gonna lie, I was hesitant to COVID date, but this time has made me like, now I want to be in a relationship. Like, I feel like someone should be here.
Should we even be dating during COVID?
Why not? Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's time to get out of the box. Why not COVID?
I don't know how to end a virtual date.
But I call it the golden age of romance because online dating is up 82% since March around the globe.
Hi, that sounds forced.
I'm nervous.
When looking at the booming dating business, look no further than Match Group Inc.
Hey!
The multi-billion-dollar conglomerate controls 60% of the online dating market, including Match.com. They've seen a healthy 16% increase in revenue since the virus outbreak in March and scored their busiest July on record. But get this, by the end of 2020, a year of hardship for so many other industries, Match Group is projected to gross a heart-throbbing $2.3 billion.
We saw an 80% increase in messaging.
Napa's only an hour drive away from me.
I love Napa.
Central Lab discovered in the current digital dating craze, people are not only browsing through their favorite dating apps, but they're committing to staying logged on.
This is my dog, Luke.
So handsome.
We're seeing a double-digit increase in those meaningful conversations.
I want to show you my balcony, too.
They're putting more effort into what they're looking for, which is a partner.
Somebody met you.
So I think the hookup culture definitely had a moment where it had a hiccup. I'm sure it'll come back, but I do think
We really are segmenting into, well, is this worth going out for?
What is the future of dating, Lauren?
It's almost like moving back to the 50s where people are really looking for romance. There's so many couples that move in right away. It's just speeded up the courtship process.
And forget about coffee meetups. 2020 sheltering in place is making pre-planned video dates the new and approved trend.
I definitely want to order some food. What do you like? Soul food is my favorite.
It's fascinating how few people were willing to get on video pre-COVID.
I'm definitely wearing pajama pants right now.
And then 70% of people were willing to video date.
Now Zoom meetings are a part of our daily lives, even here at Central Lab.
Welcome to the Team J.
And Zoom dating has already coined a term in the dating world. What are some of the new ways of figuring out if someone is truly into you?
Well, absolutely. If you haven't been zumped yet, eventually you will be, right? You'll know if they haven't zumped you yet that they're liking you.
Just as The Daily Show's Trevor Noah and actress Minka Kelly masked up and stepped out together in New York City, so have Gregory and Jamal. The Georgia pair met on an app and headed to the polls.
He was like, I'm going to vote. So I was like, well, come get me too, then. I'll go vote. It was like 2 weeks. We ended up moving in together. And we did find out, okay, well, the relationship's not working, but let's at least try to keep the friendship. So at the moment, we still are staying together.
I even started an event called Meet Your Match. We've matched over 100 people during this pandemic.
One of Stacey J's matches, Tiffany and Myron.
My abs were hurting because I was laughing so hard.
She's a Cali girl. He's a Texas guy.
If it wasn't for COVID-19, I wouldn't have never met Tiffany at all.
They haven't met yet, instead have focused on FaceTime hangouts and a flourishing friendship.
I do plan to meet Tiffany in person.
Lady, you could actually go on a date without wearing heels. Like, do it.
And some other stars who found a deeper love in COVID. Model Winnie Harlow and LA Laker Kyle Kuzma didn't let the virus socially distance them, while Ben Affleck and his new girlfriend, actress Ana de Armas, committed to quarantining together. All right, coming up next, a head-scratching social trend that makes catfishing look like child's play. We'll be right back.
Appropriation occurs when a style leads to racist generalizations or stereotypes where it originated, but is deemed as high fashion, cool, or funny when the privileged take it for themselves.
Welcome back. That's then 16-year-old actress Amanda Stenberg breaking down cultural appropriation. But then there's this, a social phenomenon that has Black women utterly bewildered. Some call it race faking, others labeling it the baffling reverse of passing. And tonight, Central Ave investigates the mind-boggling trend of blackfishing. The summer of 2020 was already one for the books, and then...
So I got a couple of things to say, and when y'all come on and tell me my time stops, out of here.
Let's talk about race. What it is and what it isn't.
We have never asked for ID. We have never asked for paperwork.
The unmasking of 3 white women passing as Black women made headlines. Their subterfuge was similar to Rachel Dolezal, featured in this Netflix documentary. In 2015, she lost her job as the head of the Spokane NAACP after she was outed as a white woman.
Are you African American?
I don't understand.
Already, pop culture observers were seeing a shady aesthetic trend emerge among celebrities and social media influencers like Kim Kardashian, Rita Ora, and Jaden Gumbayan. A trend that took form when this tweet by Canadian writer Wanna Thompson went viral. She wrote about it in Paper Mag, an online magazine.
To put blackfishing in front of it and saying, you know what, these women are trying to be Black, they're passing off themselves as Black and they're imitating Black women, that we're exactly calling it what it is.
And now, the behaviors some celebrities, social media influencers, and wannabes were being called out on finally had a name: blackfishing. And this Reddit thread began crowdsourcing a list of blackfishers.
I think it struck a nerve because sometimes you all see something, but you can't put your finger on what it is. And so when people heard the term blackfishing, it's almost like it was like an aha moment. Like, that's what that is. That's that thing that I'm reacting to.
Blue Toulousma is a writer and an unabashed culture critic at the Griot.
The term blackfishing finally gave shape to something really insidious that was bothering people, but that was almost like flying off of our radars before we could pinpoint it down to anything.
Hey guys, my name is Emma Hallberg.
Emma Hallberg, a Swedish Instagram influencer, came under suspicion for her look, as did Polish-born Brit Alicia Brzezowska, who tried to downplay the accusations.
I can't take off these lips. I'm not white, okay?
Recently, French singer Nala netted blackfishing accusations for her cover of Beyoncé's Baby Boy.
I was criticized for cultural appropriation, referring to my hairstyle because I had a wigs in my clip, as I do have in everyday life. I mean, each person should be able to make her hair or to dress as she wants. Let's stop looking for any opportunity to divide.
What a brand wants in an influencer is a degree of authenticity and trust. And so it is incumbent upon that brand, that advertiser, that marketer, to do their research and understand who they're working with.
Rand Fishkin is an online marketing and branding expert.
Especially right now, while we're having these important conversations about race and Black Lives Matter and cultural appropriation, it is incredibly dangerous from a PR perspective and from a brand safety perspective to have a relationship that is paid and that involves amplification from someone who might not be who and what they say they are.
Blackfishing, it hurts Black women economically. I have a lot of friends who are influencers who they're not being offered opportunities because a corporation or a company or a major brand rather give it to a blackfishing white woman who's presenting sort of Black while still feeling like she's white enough than to an actual Black woman, which means our culture is being mined, but we're not the ones who are getting the payout.
It's a dynamic that model and entrepreneur LIRIS CROSSE knows well.
You have models now who have gotten fuller lips, who have tanned some, and then you have clients who will say, you know what, we will use this person because, you know, she kind of comes off racially ambiguous. She kind of has the lips, she has the hips, she has the body, but she's passable, she's mainstream, she's relatable, she can, everybody can see a little piece of themselves within her.
And to add salt to that wound,
you are considered unprofessional when you are a Black woman and you wear cornrows. But when you were a white woman and you wear cornrows, suddenly you are high fashion. And so it's almost as if they're treating us like we are a costume. When you treat someone's culture or their race as a costume, you are dehumanizing them. And here are these women who get to benefit from appearing Black or Blackish and racially ambiguous, but then they get to go home and wash it off and get in their beds. And when they do that, then they don't have to worry about things like Breonna Taylor, who doesn't get to blackfish and who doesn't get to wash it off, right? Being a Black woman is a very heavy thing, but having the culture and the pizzazz of Black womanhood is a very trendy thing.
And back to Rachel Dolezal, who was the first to trend on social media for blackfishing. After securing a book deal and a Netflix documentary, she continues to live as a Black woman in Spokane, Washington. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We couldn't let you go without reminding you that you can watch the uncut extended versions of all of our investigations on our YouTube channel at Central Ave TV.
And be sure to join us next week for a very special show when Central Ave presents Say Her Name, an in-depth look at violence against African American women and how the media covers it. We'll see you then.
Good night.